Hi all. Have you ever felt torn between the balance of joy and sadness and the beauty of the place that you find yourself? As a migrant from Cape Town, South Africa, now living in New Zealand, I always marvel at the natural beauty of the surroundings. It's a great outdoors. My daughter can cycle, she can go out, she can take the bus, and I have no sense of fear, but there's natural beauty. And then I also think of the lower levels of crime, the lower levels of unemployment, and a whole host of things like social services, etc., that exist in the country. However, as an immigrant or a migrant to whichever country we may find ourselves, we always face things like visa restrictions that limits us our ability to do things and use our skills to its fullest potential. For example, we have to work for an accredited employer, we need to earn a certain wage, and we may not even be able to study, nor able to be self-employed. And this depends on visa requirements and visa restrictions, of course. But lately, that is kind of the restriction that most of the people that are now experience. And then there's also the subtleness of not feeling like you quite belong or not being welcome in many instances. But then you get the odd occasion where someone says, hey, welcome to the country, welcome to New Zealand. And that is just a breath of fresh air. And words cannot begin to describe how that makes you feel, of just feeling a sense of being welcomed and like you belong, and what you have to offer may be an asset to the country that you're currently living in. Recently, I had a strange experience in a gathering. Bearing in mind, I just mentioned about the services and the things that the country has to offer. And there was a sense of heaviness that filled the room and the atmosphere. It was almost tangible, and it really weighed heavy on my and my family's hearts. And we couldn't reconcile this feeling of heaviness amidst all the services and privileges and so much to be joyous for. There's social services when they're facing some form of difficulty or struggle, and yet sadness or heaviness still fill the room. And as an immigrant, we still have to learn to be joyous in every moment, even in the difficulties and struggles that we experience. And I think of my community as a Cape Coloured from South Africa. Ons kan dit doen, and we know how to celebrate. We celebrate in the struggle. Emo Adams and Lukman and things, we speak about the struggle, but yet we can celebrate. We celebrate even in the midst of the struggle. And I think that is what we as South Africans have with us. We have resilience. We're able to go the extra mile and do things even in the midst of difficulty and adversity that we may face. Sometimes I wonder if it's not the colonial history of the countries that we reside in that is now coming back to bite every one of us. Either those of us that has been victims of oppression, or those of us who are on the other side, those of us that has had the privilege and we're unable to reconcile how to do things right and how to treat one another with the same level of respect as we should be treated with. And perhaps that's what creates the heaviness in the air, that we just don't know. We don't know how to get along with one another from different cultures. But I think we can do it. Remember, in some way or the other, we are all mixed people. As Emil Janssen says, ons is mixed mense. And amidst that, there's still the odd occasion where some retirees or close to retirees often says, we welcome you to New Zealand. And that is just so amazing that someone can actually acknowledge that you come from a different place and they're still able to welcome you. Even though that is rare, it still happens. So if we can all continue doing that and treating others in that manner, perhaps then we can make the world a different place, never mind the community that we live in. And remember, joy and sadness can coexist in surprising ways, even in the most beautiful places. So it's not about natural beauty, but it's about how we treat one another. And in that way can we create true beauty. Because beauty comes from within us in the way that we've been created and designed as a humanity. So here's the challenge today. In what ways can you make someone feel better? Perhaps it's with a smile, perhaps it's by a short conversation, or even just saying hello. Perhaps it's someone in your neighborhood that needs that today. So let us stand together and see how we can make a difference in the lives of someone else. Even in the midst of difficulty, and I think of us as a family in New Zealand at this moment. So far we faced 2 losses. One was with my aunt and one was with my mom, or my wife's mom. And even in that, we celebrate that that person is in a better place and is no longer suffering, and we move forward from strength to strength. So this is Cam from Cam's Morning Thoughts. I just hope you have an awesome day further, and let us keep it real.